Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Blunt Talk with LT, episode 10. StackWap.com. This episode is brought to you by StackWap.com. StackWap.com/shop. All right, the first thing I'm gonna talk about is T-Pain. T-Pain was recently on Joe Budden's pull-up interview thing he has going on. It's like a podcast or whatever the fuck it is, some interview shit. So basically, he was talking about his career and I guess the things that held him back, or why he isn't as big as, you know, he probably should be, or people thought he should be, or his potential would make him be, or, you know, the amount of work he put in. But he's disappeared for a bunch of years, and he was just talking about his life and what he's going through. But he was more specifically speaking about the music industry and the labels and the budgets and all that shit. And when he was going through that, it just made me realize, like, well, it didn't make me realize, but it just like reaffirmed my whole stance on the whole signing to a label and taking your eye off the ball, basically, like expecting them to care about your career, basically, and facilitate everything properly, handle everything, budget everything, make sure that you're the number one star. But they're not going to do that. They're going to do what's right for business. And, well, that is right for business. They're going to try to make you a star. But at the end of the day, they're not going to do everything for you. You still have to do you have to do everything that you basically did to get there while you're there and more, because nowadays shit's different. And shit's been different for a while. You have to do a lot more. You can't just, it's hard to just, basically what he was saying, what he was going through, he was really focused on the artistry. And as an artist, you're robbed of that now. You can't just focus on your artistry. You have to watch all your managers, your accountants, your the people that work at the labels trying to market your shit, that budget everything. You have to keep your eye on all of that. Because if you don't, while you're signed to a label, you can just end up shelved. They can market for the wrong single and your album will just end up shelved, or your album won't do the units it's supposed to do, or it's not going to have the impact it's supposed to have because mismanagement. For an artist, it's fucked up. It's very hard for an artist. Like, he started off as a ghostwriter, as many of us are, just ghostwriting songs. You know, signed as a ghostwriter, or just, you know, freelancing as a ghostwriter because they haven't gotten into the music industry fully as an artist. A lot of artists are in that pool right now. He was in that initially. He broke out of that quickly because he's T-Pain. But it's like, for an artist, you spend a lot of money trying to basically spend time for studio time, you know, for beats, all that shit. And you don't really make much when you're starting off. You're doing free shows, you're doing promo shows. Even when you start opening for shows, you're not making that much money. You're gonna have to like get a job or something. You're gonna have to sell some shit. You're gonna have to basically, like, it's different. You have to be signed if you're coming. Like, it's very difficult. If you don't have an advance for an artist, it's very difficult. It's much easier to be a fucking producer, where you can make beats and you can push them shits on YouTube. You can sell them shits, you can lease them, and then you get paid when the shit actually comes out. Because that's one of the things for an artist. As an artist, you buy the beat, right? For an exclusive, you pay a lot of money for the exclusive, not just leasing a beat. You buy out the beat so you can actually have the rights to sell the shit. Okay? But you buy the beat, so you feel like you own the beat. But you don't, because when you release the song, the producer still gets half of the earnings after you already bought the beat. So it's like you buy the beat and then you sell your product that's finished, that you recorded, and you only get half of that, but you don't even get half of that because Spotify eats half of that. And if you're signed, then that becomes even more tricky. I don't know exactly the percentages because I'm independent, but at the same time, it's like, whew, as an artist, you're getting raped. It's not as lucrative if you're not pushing them units to be an artist as it is to be a producer, a beat maker. And even now, as a content creator, it's difficult to be on YouTube because YouTube's cutting the monetizations, and you have to, if you don't reach a threshold, and the threshold just keeps moving up. So it's like, if you don't reach a threshold, you're not getting your shit monetized. And then even when it's monetized, everything gets demonetized if it doesn't fit a certain criteria that you don't really understand. And I don't know, YouTube's very tricky. The game's constantly changing in front of us. Fucked up. Every day shit's changing. There's new shit every day. You gotta be quick to the waves and shit. I think T-Pain had a good career. I don't know how much money he has right now, but that shit that they were offering him was very disrespectful. They offered him $6 million for his catalog. The Dream sold his catalog for $23 million. The Dream wrote for Beyonce. He has Beyonce songs on his catalog. If I'm not correct, he has Single Ladies on his catalog. And $23 million is a lot of fucking money, but I'm pretty sure the Dream's catalog is pretty extensive in those royalties and that publishing. For years he can collect money. But 23 mil, he sold that one time. They try to offer T-Pain $6 million, which is disrespectful. If they offer T-Pain 23 million as T-Pain, I still wouldn't even sell, because T-Pain has a lot of songs that he's written for other artists that were huge, but his catalog by itself without his other shit that he's written for other artists is ridiculous. It's not like Dream has a decent catalog by himself, but most of the Dream's biggest songs are like written for other artists. I can't say most, but some of them, several of the Dream songs are written for other artists, some of his biggest songs. So, I don't know. He probably did the numbers. He's probably calculating how much he got monthly from those, the royalties and shit. And he's probably like, fuck it. So I can't blame the nigga. That's good, 23 mil. I'm just saying the 6 mil was disrespectful. That's the main point of this shit. That 6 million for disrespectful. T-Pain is one of the greats, one of the most talented people. Yeah, 6 mil, disrespect. All right, what's next? Probably going to talk about the Anthem protests. I don't have the most popular stance on the Anthem protest at this point, because the Anthem protests have turned into that. It was never a fucking Anthem protest. The fuck? It was always about the cops killing unarmed, innocent black people and the racial injustice and the treatment in general and all sorts of fuck shit that's been going on. It's never been about that, but it became, well, it's always been about that. It's always been about the inequalities. It's never been about the actual protest of the anthem. And for the simple fact that it's still going on and they're still disputing anthem protests and this and that, it's like they give Dak Prescott donkey of the day for basically saying he's not gonna take a knee for the anthem and this, that, and that. And really and truly, I feel like it's pointless now. It's pointless to take a knee because they've been hijacked the message. Now it's become, okay, it's more of a, you got to do what I'm telling you what to do, opposed to, like, it's not even, they say they're taking their right to protest, but they're not even, no one's getting the message. People don't care. People that got the message don't care. And they're using the whole flag shit as an excuse to not care about the black people that are getting shot. And it's quite clear. So it's like this whole thing going on is just compromising the players and putting them in bad positions because the fans aren't doing shit. So it's like, what the fuck? I feel like they should just stop that shit, and at their press conferences say something about it after, so the message can get heard clear or something. Or I don't know. The protest needs to be elevated in a different way. It needs to be broached in a different fashion now, because it's ineffective. It's the controversies keep going on, and the controversies not speaking about the issue that you're protesting. So I feel like it's ineffective. And people think differently. A lot of people think differently, but I feel like it's pointless at this point. What are you doing? You're putting yourself in danger and your checks in danger, and you guys have money that could actually affect the communities. You've seen LeBron just open the school in Akron because he like the way, I don't know, man. The way I look at it, he built up his empire, he built up his money, and he's helping the community in a positive fashion with his money and his vision. A lot of NFL players are doing that too, and you don't want their money compromised so hard where they can't help anymore. And the protests are doing nothing. At the end of the day, the cops are still getting off for killing niggas. No one's paying attention to the cops killing niggas. It's all about, oh, you're disrespecting the flag. President Trump has something to say. President Trump. It sounds weird saying, nigga, Trump. The hell? I don't know. That's what I'm talking about when I hear this, like the fake outrage. Like, if you're gonna cancel Roseanne, like I don't give a fuck about Roseanne. I'm not speaking up for Roseanne. I don't know Roseanne from a hole in the wall. I'm just saying, people get so upset about Roseanne, but they don't give it. Like the same people that get upset about Roseanne that's going on about these people on Twitter are the same people that don't give a shit when niggas is shot in the street. So they talk about this racism shit and this and that. They don't really care. None of these people really care. People are just voicing their opinion on Twitter. As I was saying, there's too many people on Twitter just speaking their opinion just to speak. Just speaking to be heard. Trying to out-righteous the other person. That's all it is. None of these motherfuckers really care. It's like back in the day, in the 90s, when the internet wasn't so big. And someone did some shit, some celebrity did some outrageous shit, they would have to send some hate mail to like the station and shit, and the shit will pile up and it'd be like 1,000 hate mail, but it's nothing compared to someone's saying something and it be retweeted 100,000 times and a bunch of people tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. So it's basically the same shit that was taking place back then on a way higher level nowadays, and it's just a bunch of people that you don't really give a fuck about their opinion because they don't really care anyway. Bunch of bored people with nothing going on in their lives. They don't really care about Roseanne. They don't really care if she's racist or not. They don't really care about racial injustice. I don't know. This shit's funny. Well, of course, some people do. Some people on the cast were upset and shit. But I'm just talking about the random Twitter beakers that Kevin Durant feels the need to respond to, that Bow Wow feels the need to respond to. The no-name brands that I don't understand why these people respond to. Who the fuck cares about these motherfuckers? Don't understand it. Shit's weird as shit to me. That's the thing, though. Kevin Durant needs to stop responding to random people. He talks about the media saying he's sensitive and he's this and that, but he's kind of proving their point. Like, if a random Twitter person says some shit about your conversation with CJ McCollum, or a random Twitter person compares you to whoever or whatever, why do you feel the need to respond to some random? And a lot of these people are just like Twitter eggs and shit. Just random Twitter eggs. Not even like real people. And some of them are, but they have like 65 followers and shit. It's like, why are you responding to them when you're Kevin Durant? So it does make you look sensitive. You know how much shit said about LeBron daily? Yeah, there's a bunch of bronsexuals riding his dick all day, but there's a bunch of fucking haters going in, or just people talking all sorts of foul shit all day. But you can't respond to all that shit, especially as a celebrity like that. So the media is kind of just in that when they say that shit about Kevin Durant. I'm tired of shit. I'm tired of shit. I shouldn't even be podcasting tonight. Fucking just going off of these topics that I have on my phone. Shit. Where's my coffee at? Y'all need to subscribe to the YouTube, Stack Guap. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just subscribe and subscribe to the YouTube channels. I'm trying to get these subscribers up. I can't even say YouTube right now. I'm fucking struggling and shit. What the fuck? God damn it. Happens to me once a podcast where I struggle on one of these easy fucking words, and it's just vexing. It's like, God damn it. Can't get a simple fucking word right. So LeBron did his interview. Finally, his first interview with the Lakers shit from, his entrance interview that they always do when you first come to a team. Didn't really talk about the Lakers too much. More spoke about the school that he opened in Akron. That shit looked sick. Like, the school looked lit. Fresh looking school. But yeah, it's a nice big school. What was I saying? When you look at the Lakers, I don't know why the Lakers are so heavily underestimated. People keep talking about Rondo, Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley. Like, this is gonna be the starting lineup and shit. Like LeBron and these guys. That's the bench. Their team is 10 deep. You got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, LeBron in the starting lineup. Who's going to round out the starting lineup? I think JaVale might get in. But it doesn't matter. They got 9, 10 guys. They're a deep team. When it comes to the playoffs and they round that off to 8 niggas, like, their team is going to be good unless they make some trades and shit and they switch it around. They have a deep team. A lot of teams don't have players that are just ready to play. They have all the young guys starting the game with LeBron, and you got the vets coming off the bench. These vets would be starting on any other team. So it's like Michael Beasley was starting for the Knicks. Rondo was starting for the Pelicans. Lance Stevens, he was coming off the bench, I believe, for the Pacers. JaVale McGee was starting half of the games for the Warriors. So they got quality players off the bench. I'm pretty sure JaVale McGee might start. I don't know what type of lineup they're going to go with and what type of last-minute signings they're going to do to reshape the roster. But the Lakers should not be underestimated. LeBron in that interview made it clear that he was here for championships. He's not here for just, to look, fresh in a Lakers uniform while he retires and grows a gray beard and shit. He's not here to just, end his career and wrap it up. He's not here for that shit. He's here to win fucking rings. And I don't think they can do it in the first season, but I don't think people should doubt them so quickly because you don't know what type of team this team could turn into. And we don't know what's going on with Golden State because they don't look like the most cohesive unit nowadays. Their team's kind of falling apart low key. There's a lot of shit going on inside of the team that people aren't aware of, and that's not being brought to the light. But at the end of the day, their team is not the most stable team right now. The Rockets with Melo, they're gonna get worse. I don't care what anyone says. When it comes to the playoffs, Melo's gonna turn into what he did last season. When he turned into last season, not even last season, it was a couple months ago, when Melo just couldn't fucking play anymore and he just gave out, and OKC just wasn't playing him in the fourth quarter of those games because he was a liability. Nah, Melo ain't adding nothing. They lost some defenders. I don't believe in the Rockets. Capella got paid 5 years, $90 million. That's nothing special, but he got signed. He's re-signed. He's happy. Their team's it's gonna be an all right team. I think OKC's gonna take a jump. I think OKC's gonna be a much better team without Melo. Rockets are gonna take a step back. Obviously, they're not gonna win 65 games again, but the Lakers are gonna. I think the Lakers could be a nice 4 seed. I could foresee them being a 4 seed at least. Now that I'm looking at it deeply, and I'm like, Lonzo will be back for the start of the season. His knee's healthier than I thought. I thought it would be like, because when I hear orthoscopic surgery or whatever the fuck it's called, I'm like, that's some shit where you're gonna be out for some months. But apparently, no, he's gonna be okay. So he's gonna probably be in for the start of the season. They're not gonna have to start Rondo. So we're gonna see what the fuck the Lakers look like. There's a lot of misinformation about LaMelo Ball and the other balls, LiAngelo Ball. A lot of misinformation, and these fucking nerds on these YouTubers basically lying because they're trying to say the JBA stats are hard to find. The JBA stats are very easy to find. You can go on the JBAleague.com and find the stats. LaMelo Ball ain't shoot. They keep trying to say the nigga shooting 13% from three. Like, yeah, he struggled early in the season, but he's shooting 20% from three. He's averaging, 39 points a game, 14 rebounds, 11 assists, some shit like that. He's averaging some absurd triple-double. So I don't give a shit about his 20% from the three-point line. He's shooting 87% from the free throw. He's shooting, 41% from the field. Like, his percentages are kind of bad, but it doesn't matter. Look at his stats. His stats are great. They're at the top of the league. They're the best team in the JBA going into the playoffs. LiAngelo's fucking averaging like 50 points a game, but he's only played 4 games. He played like half the season. It's an 8-game season, and then the playoffs, short season. They gotta like improve on that. They gotta make it a little longer. It can't just be a little short summer league if they're really gonna compete. They can't really compete with the NCAA as it stands because the NCAA runs through the school year. The JBA's running through the summer. It's a very short season. They gotta restructure this somehow because it's not. It's more of like competing with the Big Three right now because I'd much rather watch the JBA than the Big Three. The Big Three is boring as fuck to me. I don't know about y'all niggas, but I can't watch a bunch of old ass niggas play a fucking half court 3-on-3 game. That shit's boring as shit. Yeah. I don't think I got more topics right now. This is probably going to be a short, wrapped up episode. Blunt Talk with LT, statquap.com, statquap.com/shop.